So the seller sold them a house for 130 square feet more than they actually have. And did the appraiser? Yeah.
Brand new.
Did the appraiser catch that? Did he measure the house?
Yes.
Okay.
That's how we found out.
Okay. And he said we're 130 feet short of what you're actually buying, but the bank still appraised it out, and it's brand new.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So short version of this is the buyers want to throw an extra $300 or $400 into a appraisal to make themselves feel good.
Yeah, they got money like that.
Okay. So that's really.
They can do that.
So let's figure, because they're our client, let's do whatever they want. So short version is it didn't appraise for. It appraised enough to get their bank loan, but it didn't make them feel comfortable about what they're actually paying for the property. So they're drunk monkeys saying, hey, be careful. And you better make sure you're not overpaying. So therefore get us an appraisal so we can sleep better at night. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the girl I'm going to send you, I'll just text you her number. Give her a call. Tell her exactly the story. And that, you know, they're going to hire you, and they're hiring you for a purpose because they want to feel good. So it's a brand new construction. This is the thing from a negotiation standpoint. You got to say, if it was you, I'd say, Mindy, do you like this place? Yes. Have you looked? Do you have the internet? Yes. Have you looked at other houses? Yes. Is this your favorite? Yes. Does this have more value than any other property for sale right now? Yes. And is that why you bought it? Yes. So you're happy with your purchase? Yes. And the bank gave you plenty of money to buy it? Yes. And you have a problem. Why?
They're mad because they should have more equity already in it.
Okay.
It's been a nightmare. It's been one thing after another. So I knew it was my son.
They wish they had more. Why do they want to have more equity in it?
Just because they've added all these features and they feel like they're not being accounted for.
Okay. So they think the appraisers.
And they've been made to feel like they're getting a deal this whole time, and then they keep getting screwed.
Okay, so probably so 840,000. What did it appraise at? It appraised at 840, or it appraised at what?
It appraised at 840. Yeah.
And they paid what?
I'll have to look at it.
Okay.
It's 840 with all the stuff they've added.
All right.
Yeah.
So they probably didn't give full credit for the boat lift and the dock and all the other things that they paid full retail for. The appraiser didn't. So that's probably what their issue is. I'm just trying to get to the root of what their issue is so we can solve it.
No, he didn't give enough weight for like the elevator and the dock lift. No, he didn't do any of that stuff. But he said it's included, but fair price for it. I don't think anybody does.
Right. So that's the issue. They're going, wait a second, I just paid $30,000 for an elevator, and that should have added $30,000 worth of value. I just paid 35 grand for a boat lift, and that didn't add $35,000 worth of value. So I just paid 65 grand for stuff, and I didn't get 65,000 worth of value. This is.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to understand where they are. So that's what we need to do and tell this appraiser and saying, here's what their issues are. They're looking at all the things that they did to upgrade this property. And the reality of it is a lot of this stuff, they're not going to get full value for it, but they're doing it because they want it. And it's just a hard thing to say. If you went and added a new tub and it cost you $5 grand to make the lion claw tub that you really wanted that made you happy, you're not going to necessarily get $5 grand out of it, but you got a big ass smile on your face. So that's the tough part about it. Especially, so we have is he an analytical or controller, or what's the personality style of the buyer? Both. Okay. So that is the issue. So he wants to feel like he won, and he wants the analytics behind it to prove that he won, so he can tell himself that he won.
Yeah.
Good, got it. All right, so now we just call the appraiser and say, I've got an analytical that doesn't feel happy and wants to show that he won and he got a great deal, and he didn't think the value reflected that. What would you charge us to go do an appraisal to show that he actually is getting a good deal on that $850,000 house that he had?
Send me that lady when you get stopped.
All right, bye.
Thank you, bye.
You gotta say it. You see how I went deep on those questions with her? Because at face value, clients ask you something, but you don't really know what they really want. So her client just said, hey, I want to get another appraisal. And why do you want to get another appraisal? Because the bank appraisal came in just fine. Your loan is not in jeopardy. What's the problem? And then so you got to figure out, well, they wanted to see if they gave them proper value, and I kept digging and digging and digging. And ultimately, you've got a high D controlling personality that's analytical at the same time, and his drunk monkey's not satisfied that the appraisal report gave enough value to things that he gave enough value to. So he's having an internal conflict that this piece of paper from an analytical side isn't showing that he won from his D side. So he's not going to be happy until he's fulfilled, and he's not going to be fulfilled until a piece of paper with the analytics show that what he bought was a good deal. And it was a good deal. I mean, there's supply and demand is such an interesting factor right now. He bought a beautiful townhome on the water for $850,000 on the island, right? He's scored. Did a very good job. Brand new. Perfect, awesome, amazing, volume direct from the developer. No real comps, but there are comps because he looked at everything else in the world he could buy for $850 and he chose that property. So it has the value. So the question is, once you decide you have the value, people buy with emotions and they justify with logic. And so the emotional buy was there, but now he's struggling with the logic side. And the logic saying, well, yeah, you like it, but what if the market turns? And what if you're overpaying? And what if this wasn't a good idea? And oh my God, you just spent $65,000 on upgrades. Did you get screwed because you didn't get $65,000 in additional value? Maybe they're screwed. What's going on? So this poor guy from his DC world is having a shouting match inside of his head saying, idiot, dumbass, where's the analytics? Why did you do that? You know you're not supposed to do that. Where? So this is what's happened. So he calls the agent and says, hey, I don't like this appraisal. Give me a new one. Right? What's he trying to do? He's trying to quiet down the bull going on inside of his head to justify the emotional purchase that he just made. So what do? You say, whatever, blow it off. You say, whatever, blow it off, you're going to piss him off even more because that's not how he gets fulfilled. He gets fulfilled by having the analytics support his need to win as a high D personality control freak, right? So you've got to really dig deep to understand what's going on and causing them to have the ideas that they're having, because I don't care what you are thinking, because you're irrelevant in this conversation. We had to dig deep, go into neutral, and ask a bunch of questions to figure out what's the root of the problem. Because until you find out what the root of the problem is, how do you fix it? There's nothing you can do. So that's why I kept asking and digging, and we finally found out we need to control a drunk monkey. That's an analytical control freak. And in order to do that, we know what to do it because we asked enough questions. He needs a piece of paper from an external source to validate the emotional purchase that he made. That's it. So as long as we understand that, we're going to do it. I'm going to send her over an appraiser. She's going to explain the situation. She's going to go do some real comps and show that what he bought was a good purchase. Emotionally, he'll be able to go. Logically, he'll be able to say, good job, you won, right? That's our job. Power, educate, encourage, make people feel comfortable. And now she's going to have a client for life because she satisfied his needs to feel comfortable, important, and proud with their purchase. So a good tactical example of what do you do when the appraisal doesn't come in, and it's always fun. So never a dull moment, always something new. Hope that brought you a little bit of value. Dig deep, remember who you're dealing with, uncover the real it, solve it.